So today, the European Union has just ratified the UK withdrawal bill for Friday's departure. This is according to the BBC, quote, MEPs ratified the Brexit withdrawal agreement by 621 votes to 49, following an emotional debate in Brussels. And yes, it was very emotional, but for some of the best reasons. Nigel Farage, the architect of Brexit, gave his final speech as an MEP to really just rip into the European Union, where he was eventually cut off for waving the Union Jack, which is just so iconic, honestly. It's quite hilarious.
The final chapter, the end of the road, a 47-year political experiment that the British, frankly, have never been very happy with. My mother and father signed up to a common market, not to a political union, not to flags, anthems, presidents, and now you even want your own army. For me, it's been 27 years of campaigning and over 20 years here in this Parliament. I'm not particularly happy with the agreement we're being asked to vote on tonight, but Boris has been remarkably bold in the last few months, and Ms von der Leyen, he's made it clear, he's promised us there'll be no level playing field. And on that basis, I wish him every success in the next round of negotiations, I really do. But the most significant point is this. What happens at 11 p.m. this Friday, the 31st of January, 2020, marks the point of no return. Once we've left, we are never coming back, and the rest, frankly, is detail. We're going, we will be gone. And that should be the summit of my own political ambitions. I walked in here, as I've said before, you all thought it was terribly funny. You stopped laughing in 2016. But my view has changed of Europe since I joined. In 2005, I saw the constitution that had been drafted by Giscard and others. I saw it rejected by the French in a referendum. I saw it rejected by the Dutch in a referendum. And I saw you in these institutions ignore them, bring it back as the Lisbon Treaty and boast you could ram it through without there being referendums. Well, the Irish did have a vote and did say no and were forced to vote again. You're very good at making people vote again, but what we've proved is the British are too big to bully, thank goodness. So I became an outright opponent of the entire European project. I want Brexit to start a debate across the rest of Europe. What do we want from Europe? If we want trade, friendship, cooperation, reciprocity, we don't need a European Commission. We don't need a European Court. We don't need these institutions and all of this power. And I can promise you, both in UKIP and indeed in the Brexit Party, we love Europe. We just hate the European Union. It's as simple as that. So I'm hoping this begins the end of this project. It's a bad project. It isn't just undemocratic, it's anti-democratic, and it puts in that front row. It gives people power without accountability. People who cannot be held to account by the electorate, and that is an unacceptable structure. Indeed, there's an historic battle going on now across the West, in Europe, America, and elsewhere. It is globalism against populism. And you may loathe populism, but I tell you a funny thing, it's becoming very popular. And it has great benefits. No more financial contributions, no more European Court of Justice, no more common fisheries policy, no more being talked down to, no more being bullied, no more Guy Verhofstadt. I mean, what's not to like? I know you're going to miss us. I know you want to ban our national flags, but we're going to wave you goodbye, and we'll look forward in the future to working with you as sovereign.
If you disobey the rules, you get cut off. Could we please remove the flags? Mr. Farage, could we remove the flags, please?
That's it, it's all over. Finished. We've gone.
Could I please ask for quiet? Please sit down, resume your seats, put your flags away, you're leaving, and take them with you if you are leaving now. And goodbye. Can I just say, if I may say, just in a slight reference, the word hate was used in the last contribution. And I really think, given what we listened to prior to this, that we should not hate anyone or any nation or any people.
Now, most of his critiques are pretty spot on, and the whole Brexit process is about the UK reclaiming its sovereignty, which, if you have any sense of national pride and individual worth, it should be the most important issue over the economy and social issues. Like sovereignty, if you don't have that, then you're not really a nation in the first place. So you're going to see a lot of disappointed liberals, a lot of disappointed liberal MEPs regret that the European project is, supposedly destroyed, and that everyone is now divided and we'll no longer have a stronger Europe. We no longer have a united Europe. But the idea of one united Europe is just so anti-democratic. That was never the point for united Europe, because once you have this European superstate, then all the individual countries lose some of their sovereignty and ability to conduct policy in whatever way they see fit. So, like, for example, the European Court of Justice dictated laws, having unelected bureaucrats make policy. They have this veil that the MEPs are somehow this governing body of elected representatives, but they have no real power compared to the other branches of the European Union. Now, there's nothing wrong with interconnectedness of the European countries. I'm all for the free trade, lowers prices, gives more consumers access to goods, but it should never be through this, bureaucratic superstate. That's not the way to do it, in my opinion, and not the way that a lot of these other Eurosceptics believe it should be. Now, it's been a long 3 years. There's been constant attempts to derail democracy by those who claim that democracy must be protected. They're going to protect democracy by voting against democracy. It's just absolute hypocrisy and idiocy. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous. I mean, this was supposed to happen in 2017, and 3 years is a long time for a lot of attempts by Parliament to derail. We had Theresa May, a Remainer, as Prime Minister, trying to, really stop the whole Brexit process from happening, even though she would obviously say that she wanted Brexit. And then Boris Johnson's, his agreements getting voted down. There needed to be almost a second referendum, but general election, and thank God Labour did not win, and they had a resounding majority to get Brexit done, and now it's finally happening, so it's very good, very good. Now, this is going to happen, like I said, on Friday. I'm quite excited to say in the least, because, it's been a long, hard-fought 3 years, and I don't even live in the UK, but I feel pretty invested in it, because I've been trying to keep track with it for a while, because I just think the whole process is just actually super interesting. Now, as far as the future of the EU, I don't think there's going to be any attempts at other nations to leave the EU, mainly because it was just so incredibly difficult. Plus, there's no driving campaign in other countries like the Brexit campaign. And plus, some of the countries that I assume will leave, they don't have their populist politicians in a position to actually make any effort to lead the EU. Like Matteo Salvini of Italy, he was ousted a few months ago from the Italian government. Marine Le Pen never, got the position of the presidency for France as Macron. So a lot of these other populists, they're just not in the position of authority to really make any substantial efforts to lead the EU, which is, it's fine for now. We can all be satisfied with Brexit because it was just such a long time coming. So yeah, I'm really excited for Friday. Really happy for the EU and the UK, even though a lot of people might not be. And yes, I did say the EU, even though I dislike them. I'm happy that they can finally recognize that they don't have ties to every single country, which is, it's good in the long run, in my opinion.